My name is Caleb Maupin. I'm a journalist. I'm originally from Ohio, but I currently live in New York City. I've been involved in a lot of activism and social justice work in the United States, fighting against the system that we live under. And I've come to Iran. This is the third time I've visited Iran. Every time I come here, I find it to be really delightful and charming, and so I'm happy to be here. It's very brilliant, and it's the way it was written. Everything about it had an amazing kind of insightful aspect to it. What I found to be the most inspiring part of the letter was the fact that he did not tell us what to think, but he rather encouraged us to do our own investigation and find out the truths for ourselves. And this showed a real brilliance, because in the United States, we're always told to think of Iran as a dictatorship, think of Iran as totalitarian, repressive. But our leaders are never telling us what the Supreme Leader of Iran told us, which is to do our own research, to learn the facts for ourselves, to do our own investigation. We never get a call to do our own investigation. And I think that his letter was so much stronger because of that. It didn't give us a presentation of facts. It gave us a challenge to find out for ourselves what the truth actually was. And that was very, very inspiring. I gave it to many young people, all of my friends. I sent the letter to all of them. I made copies that I distributed whenever there were a couple times when I got back from Iran, I gave a speech about like what Iran is like, seeing it for myself, and each time I distributed a copy of the letter with my presentations. And when people read it, they were really surprised. They were expecting that the Supreme Leader would just preach at them and tell them exactly what to believe. And instead, they found a very insightful, very sensitively and carefully written letter urging them to do their own investigation and do their own research. And that was very unique. It was not like what they were expecting, and it really changed their perception of Iran, and it made them question what they had been told by the leaders of the United States about Iran. The youth of Europe and North America are very frustrated right now and are very unhappy because the economic situation in the Western countries is very much declining. We have been told in the United States that you are worthless. So much of the media, it's not even stories about good and evil, no protagonists. It's just following rich people around and seeing how they live. We're taught to worship wealth. And at the same time that we're given this kind of disgusting, worship of wealth, we're being faced with the reality that the situation, the living standard for young people in the United States is far lower. The good-paying industrial jobs, which were kind of the basis of the U.S. economy, we're talking about auto manufacturing, steel manufacturing, they've been gotten rid of. They don't exist any longer. And the public sector of the U.S. economy, universities, teachers, professors, post offices, people who work in government, that's also being eliminated. Young people in the United States and in Europe are facing a job in what they call service sector jobs, where they're making coffee for people, working in restaurants, making a mere fraction of what their parents made in wages. And they're quite frustrated by it. And at the same time, there is an increase in police repression in the United States. Cameras are everywhere watching everything we do. We hear case after case of the police beating somebody up, murdering somebody, and facing no accountability for their actions. And in those circumstances, there's a rising amount of frustration among the young people in the United States and also in Europe. And based on that, young people are looking for something to believe in, looking for people who have answers. What's wrong with Western society? I myself, I've always known that something's wrong with the society that I live in. There's something not right about it. But I didn't really have anything to put it into words. I didn't have an explanation. And I think young people are looking to documents, things similar to the letter from the Supreme Leader, as they try to find out what's wrong with Western society. One thing that is happening in the U.S. is we're constantly being told now to hate Muslims, hate people of Islamic faith. And I think a lot of young people are questioning the government, and they're questioning that as well. If our leaders, who are lowering our standard of living, destroying the economic situation in the U.S., increasing police repression, are then also telling us to hate Muslims, perhaps that's not the truth. Perhaps this is something we shouldn't believe in. They call it Islamophobia, to be afraid, to be hateful of people of Islamic faith. And I think there are a lot of young people that are questioning that because they see that it's the source of Islamophobia is the same source of the people that are destroying the United States. So maybe they should not believe it, and maybe they should listen to what leaders of the Islamic world are saying.